as a self-empowered woman who cares, and as a human being who cares, I have always had this thing with hypocrites. And as I got mental health awareness through my educational courses, attachment and trauma, and became very in depth and knowledgeable about our lovely embodied brain, I noticed that I already intuitively knew things as a kid. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you, God, because I learned about being a humble human being and walking a walk and talking a talk. And it wasn't hard nor confusing when the individuals who are unkind, because see, unkindness and mental health, they go together, because people who treat each other in ways that are called biological rudeness, it's an adaptive child. And I see movies, they perpetuate a lot of maladaptive child behavior. They give love a bad name, making it look like any type of, adrenaline, high risk behavior. Remember, we were talking about that. So a lot of people, they consistently have adaptive child behavior, and their default mode network does turn on in a sympathetic modality. Okay, I'm a 5D mystic, oneness consciousness, and it's Christ consciousness, not for the monotheistic part. No, because Jesus stands as a restorative embodiment. So do I, and so does Buddha and Sadhguru and Daniel Siegel and Bessel van der Kolk and all the people I learned from. So restorative embodiment, you achieve integration of the brain, and that's your mammalian heritage. It's not a special gift, although I did get lucky, because see, I got determined. Where's my lovely show and tell? I got determined. I'm a twin. I got to be an inner child with a child, and I got also lucky because I got a mother who taught me everything about how to use my 3-year-old tone. I also did not get frightened, terrorized by a parent who yells at you for being a child. Yeah, I see that a lot. Every time I see a child getting yelled at for no other reason except for their expression, emotion, yeah, or using the word ridicule, don't be ridiculous, and emotion, creating a vocabulary, a word that equals, if you're deeply experiencing something, I'm going to make you think of that as something ridiculous. You can use a different word. So something like, oh, the big deal. Well, so again, hypocrites, let's talk about that. When you say, I am an advocate, I don't use that word specifically, because anytime I do hear advocates of mental health, and I've met them in my attachment and trauma information courses, they did not bring their inner child back to life, and they did not reparent. In fact, they are actually on step 4 with an attachment wound, a trauma, and so they're like, we're the star group, we're the special people, and that's why we have spiritual bypassers, and they involve also the bad mental health community, quote unquote bad, meaning they're not completely whole yet. So their attitude is one of a maladaptive child. In fact, in my classes, whenever there were those, I noticed they would take away our class time so that they could share the story. And they actively were told, a lot of the courses, they say, remember, this isn't therapy, this is where you're learning, because you're supporting people. And I was wondering, these are all life coaches, personal development mentors like me, content creators. These are people who are professionals. And then I got given this really important data. I think it's like around 50% of therapists, I don't know where the data comes from, I'd have to ask, but that have dissociative identity disorder and or have still trauma stuff lingering, emotional triggers. And some are like, well, Maria, everybody's human. I'm like, yeah, but aren't you going to take seriously what you do? So for the professionals, I'm happy there's the bar and all, or whatever it is that they get through. So I'm sure as we continue to learn more, they're going to ensure that people who are supporting people as a professional, and for me, I always say, I don't do the therapy stuff. I'm personal development. I'm the step after that. So when I hear somebody saying, therapy is sacred, but I don't want to do personal development, that's when you know, okay, that's another, not going to say hypocrite, just a person who chose, I did the grunt work, now I want to say what is, I don't know, I don't get it. As you're educated, that's low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive mannerisms. It's all an adaptive child. You're still your teenager version. So you're on Elsa's journey. You didn't get to the end and say, oh, let me witness, experience my 0-1-year-old attached panicky and my 3 to 7 shame submissive. Let me experience and see my karma, the charges, and let me do dharma. And lo and behold, integration of the brain can begin, and you expand your window of welcome to become flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. And that's why integration for those of us who did get lucky is easy. So as a 16-year-old, I moved into becoming this faces and smart faces. I created the SMART acronym: stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. So I like to say what I think and what I see, and I do like to say kind and compassionate doesn't mean that people think of you that way. No. When you're confident, teenagers showed me what they think. They think it means you are egoic, and I said, yeah, well, I am not a person who doesn't think of myself as I'm fine with my imperfections and flaws. I'm going to say you have low self-esteem. I don't. I have healthy self-worth. So I didn't back down and say, oh, let me go and be in a shame corner and say they just chipped away at something. No, I said, teenagers don't like confidence. Oh, wait, they are immature. I was too. I'm not going to be anymore, okay? So, hypocrite. A friend of mine called me a hypocrite because I had said, you're a hypocrite. I told him he's a hypocrite because he doesn't walk a walk and talk a talk. So when I see a cowardice human being, which is a person who, by the way, their default mode network turns on in high-risk situations, the pseudo-aliveness, the Elsa journey, Pinocchios with ears and tails. So watch a movie like Hangover, Mean Girls, and go out and figure out, okay, so I'm going to know that you're an actual human being who supports mental health when I see how you treat every person out there. When you use the word narcissist in the way that I've seen it used, and when I see people saying I'm a mental health advocate and then they cancel and block, I won't tolerate that stuff. You're enabling. Yeah, okay, there's an adaptive child. Why? Well, because the adaptive child is your brainstem, your safety behavior, and your charged teenage. I remember being a teenager. I know everything. No, I didn't know everything. I knew I didn't know everything. In fact, I was like, I love learning. And all these teenagers didn't know how to listen to the grown-ups, which is what I found in my classroom now as a grown-up. I was like, okay, wait a minute. I thought they were grown-ups. What's going on here? So the step forward, they found studies recently, the good people, the good study people, not the, I'm an ex-FBI agent. Believe me, please. Okay, also, they build quantitative data and time. So anybody who's discerning will know, nope, yoga don't bring no demon out of you. Nope, Reiki is not devils anything, nor is tarot. It's okay. Common sense, 5D mystic, enlightenment, functional adult, woo-woo, pseudoscience. It's out of respect for the academics and for people who don't believe in mysticism. It's okay. But it is fun. 5D mystics, come on over. Stop being with the people who say they're taking our divinity away. You're overflowing with humanity is what brings divinity. Because, Jesus walked with the people, talked with the people, turned the other cheek. Forgive them for they do not know. It is a very straightforward command. No, it is an example that he led with. Okay, so, and as Sadhguru did point out, only 12 people followed him. Let's think about that one. He was welcomed with mistrust, disbelief, fear, and non-acceptance. Like when I hear people saying, I don't like humans. I think they suck. And I saw a lot of dumbness as well. That's why smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. I'm an adult now. I don't see smart faces. Because as long as you're not compassionate or kind, you can tell me you're a mental health advocate. The minute that I see you say, that's a narcissist, that's an energy vampire. I attract only these people. I'm healing people. I'm a star. I feel deeper than they do because I have clairs. Wow, okay. You need a group. Oh, you do have one. The culty cult, traditional cult, ethical cults. There's our Peter Pans with the Lost Boys. Whichever one you are, doesn't matter. We'll spot you because we are the 5D collective. Okay, what are we? We're all beautiful stars, by the way, but we are securely attached. Self-empowered women, men and theys. That means we love all people. We don't say I hate, dislike. No, we're going to save what? We're not one people. There's 8 billion of us. We're going to keep doing what we're already doing. But we most likely will not treat people like pieces of shit or speak about being a human like a piece of shit. So we don't pick spirituality over sciences. And we don't say they're competing. That's only for the adaptive child, which I've had that experience. Okay, so one, when you meet people who use words like narcissist, they also do, you're a covert narcissist, you're an attachment avoidant. Whenever anyone's using words, it makes me think of my online marketing colleagues. I'm like, why are you speaking like that? You all sound like sales pitches. What are you, a machine? Your clients won't know what you're talking about, but there are those people. They're the 3D collective. The 3D collective, it's like Wall Street. That's what I think of. I didn't watch that one movie, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio. What is it? Wall Street Wolves or something like that. Anyways, yeah. So the energy of people that are all about jewelry or whatever, the superficial stuff. I'm just going to say they're not authentic. But you can tell they seem like they want to be the king and the queens of the past. So anyways, that's completely another energy. Let me keep finishing up as we wrap up these last minutes. Okay, so when you meet a hypocrite, you'll know, because they will not walk a walk and talk a talk and do no emotional, no chit chatter and emotional, like, yes, I'm accountable. I am totally overreacting. You know what? Yes, the woo woo lady here is making up shit. So proving you're right. That's what the adaptive child, they want to prove they're right or wrong. So they're already in the engaging conversation with a mind that's, the default mode network is ready for battle, because they didn't learn how to be, oh, relationships, they're safe. Oh, I'm safe. I'm cool. They're cool. We're having fun. This is what flexibility is about. I love being restorative embodiment. It's amazing. Okay, controlling other people, like partners. Yeah, that's not going to work with a self-empowered woman. You're not going to control me, and I ain't going to control you. You know what's funny? My solo poly community. Okay, so I'm polyamorous. I have twin flames. But before we even had a word, I wasn't able to use it. So I'd have to explain, hey, I have more than one person that I love. And it's not going to be just some random human being. And I also, the person who, even before that, again, the twin flames, flexible, like my teenage boyfriend. So while people think that that's you allowing people to do whatever they want, it's more of, I don't own you. You're not my property. I don't need you. I don't need you mentally. I don't need you emotionally. And no, I don't need you physically. This is an empowered woman's way of saying, I don't get discarded, because if you and I are not bringing each other a thrill, meaning that every morning you don't, wake up and you want to be around me, then it's okay. So you move beyond the one. By the way, it's not traumatic for the people who have an emotional 3-year-old heart, for the ones who need to get the window of tolerance expanded and then a window of welcome. That's why we got people who are Zen masters saying, you cannot be an enlightened person. You have laundry to do. It's like, well, you don't have fun with your emotional plane. That's your thing, not mine. Get your left and right to work together, and you'll have integration of the brain, which is like this. Whole 3-year-old heart. You be you and I be me. So we're not going to try proving you're right or wrong. In fact, we start to notice that. I noticed as a teenager. And the hypocrites, that's why my friend, yes, buffoons. So controlling people, sure. Unbridled self-expression, yes. They make it all about everything they think, and they retaliate when you don't do the step 4, because see, they're trying to, no, they're not trying to heal their trauma charge. They're just saying, I know everything, you don't know anything, and I'm going to project shit in your face with my low self-esteem attitude, and then I'm going to use fancy words. I'm a mental health advocate. How dare you enable her, blah, 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 blah. It's like, wow. Sure, you're doing a great job. I see that. Very great. Pinocchio, you got ears and a tail. Who's your leader? Where's the Peter Pan of your group? Lost Boys? Elsa Journey? Anyone? And what you didn't know about pseudo-aliveness? Oh, you do? Did you not notice that you're applying it right now? So they withdraw because, see, I don't do it this way. When people come at me with their drama kings, queens days, I do it very differently. Every word you utter, yes, said Guru. Every action you take, yes, said Guru. Your every existence, your very existence. Again, is it for everyone's well-being, or is it just about you? Well, let me think. Am I a solo self? Yes. Do I move beyond the solo self? Yes. What did I get taught? I got taught, if you can't say something nice, say nothing. And since I'm an inner child and I shared the room, oh, and I love Jesus, again, he's a human. He walked with the people. There's one thing about what I love with my Christianity upbringing, Catholicism, is that every day that I got to go and be welcomed, and I hope to always be welcomed, I got to feel what he stood for and stands. And seeing people that want to use spirituality in a way that doesn't bring forth what the spirituality of our past, this is really not cool. But I understand it. Again, we got 3D, 4D. But in the meantime, what I'm trying to get at is, when I think of Buddha, I love that he's out there for the people who need to reparent themselves, because that's who Buddha's out there for. So you can get your integration of the brain, because yoga and mindfulness meditation, there are 3 pillars of the mind, mindfulness, and the yoga is not demonic shit that comes out of you. It's the ignorant human beings who really need to get attachment trauma informed, but they're going to say, I don't believe in it. I believe in the biblical text. And they'll be like, okay, then go with the group of flat earthers, please. And, no, you're not going to shut it, because, again, 3D, 4D, fair and square. Let's leave the hypocrites to be hypocrites. Again, when they use the word healthy, they think it means you need to follow my ancient scripture, otherwise you're not healthy. Healthy is not about your personal opinion of what I should believe in. Healthy is my embodiment. Okay, so my body is a human body, And therefore, let us not favor, whether it be spiritual in the sense of a yoga story or monotheistic, those belief systems as stories are stories and words. Mental health advocate. I've seen people be in sympathetic mode thinking that that is how you're going to stand up. This is the misconception, is to be in your 16-year-old, which is in your sympathetic. And the minute you learn how to be in your actual emotions, well, I learned since I was growing up, it is really empowering. Empowerment has no comparison to the energy that is so small of attachment, resentment, attachment, envy, attachment, all these women and men and days that I've met throughout the years. Today I can know intuitively, energetically, if I'm near you and you're not empowered to be yourself, I'm going to perceive a small energy near me. And then I'm going to begin to perceive whatever it is that you still have, your own self disrespect. And I'm not going to say anything. That's why I won't say to a person who's projecting their low self-esteem at me, because I grew up to learn how to be respectful in an equanimous way, because I played already the game of life with a small person like me. So I learned how to have manners. And Jesus continued to teach me, as did God. Do not envy, do not desire, do not think you are me. There were very specific guidance, which I never lost in my head. I hear it always. And I didn't need to say, stop demon, stop devil coming in my head. I've heard people that worked with rumination, they're coaches in attachment, and they're literally talking on screen about how they told and prayed God and said stop and stop and stop. It's like, okay, that's a resource. Why are you not explaining that you use the resource of your belief system to pray? You're making it sound like there was a devil or demon coming towards you, and you're praying got the devil demon to go away. So you're not just random. You're creating a story with your belief system, and you're a coach that is teaching about attachment on screen. So I'm just saying, I don't do the perfect job, but I try. That's why I'm pseudoscience lady. If I'm seeing somebody bring that entire belief system, this belief system, you get taught it's a resource when you're a holistic practitioner. So if you're a holistic practitioner, you don't bring in the belief system. Hopefully that's been cleared. And if you say, I'm an advocate of mental health, you don't say, you're a narcissist, you're an energy vampire, I'm a light. No, you don't do any of that. You're going to say, wow, I have a person in front of me. They're in adaptive child mode. So let me hear, 3-year-old, what did you want to prove today? What do you want to do? Okay, I'm out. And so their retaliation isn't going to be anything, because the fact that they withdraw is sad for them, not for us. Every word that we utter is that we know the life within you is not here to serve the body, the mind, the emotion, our body, our mind, and emotion. Life is through it, and that's your consciousness. So your contribution to the world is you, how you live, how joyful you are. Everything has an impact. Thank you, Sadhguru. And spirituality is a way of living with meaning and connection beyond the solo self, which is what you can achieve with integration of the brain. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. Integration of the brain. Let me see, where are my notes? I have all these notes. That's why I'm confusing a bunch of things right now, but I want to read them, at least some of them, and I know that I will extend a little bit longer to close you out. But again, if you're interested, ask questions. I'm happy to answer and to share with you all the sources. So integration made visible is kindness and compassion. And the road to integration, as he shares, can be incredibly energizing, because what you are doing is helping someone to heal. So he's talking about a person who becomes a secure attachment figure. You're a safe haven, secure base now. When you are emotionally mature and mentally mature, it means I can welcome you. Even if you're maladaptive child behavior, I actually have fun always, not just sometimes, because unless you're a physical threat, not going to care. The hypocrites, I learned how to handle hypocrites and everything teenagerish as a teenager, and I stood with Jesus as a heart body and value body who says, I will use my words. Also my mother, she taught me to use my words, not my hands, the words. And the tone, you notice it. Like I notice when I get passionate, I start to go up, because thank you, Stephen Porges, our ventral vagal nervous system and our nervous system overall, it's the tone that gives it away. And we wear our heart on our face, not on our sleeve, which is why people think they can get away with lying. It's a 3-year-old broken heart. It's like when you're a kid and you think you can get away with lying. A conscious human being like myself, mystic or not, you're going to be like, okay, I can tell from your tone something's up. I can tell if you're going to tell me the truth or not. I'm not going to tell you if you're closing your heart and getting rid of me or whatever. You don't, it's none of my business. That's the Shiva land. Right here, it's none of my business. You do you, I do me. I don't dysregulate because I'm not a dysregulated nervous system. I'm a regulated one. You're the one who has the default mode network who's looking to get into fight because you're used to this type of dynamic. It's unfortunate. The most precious thing is life itself. Will you realize this now or on your deathbed? So integration of the brain is great because the 5D collective, we can be for a person that which they will have never had, which is a secure attachment figure. And that will mean that you are a deep source of comfort for that nervous system, safe haven, so they can regulate in it, and also a source of continued support as they go and explore. So secure base, the world, which is very unsafe. We know this already. We don't need any genius to let us know. Every day is unsafe because when I wake up and you wake up, that's great. Some don't wake up. Your secondary consciousness is what you are always going to have. And what I've noticed is that hypocrites, again, they don't notice that they're not badass. Like teenagers didn't. That they're just as scared as anybody else about what it is to not be alive anymore. And it's okay because nobody wants to actually, except for those who don't love to live life, which is where let's support each other to know life is a gift. And to understand the human suffering love narrative, that's a group. And then there's the human love narrative and hypocrites, again, not a competition. So, one, secure attachment. Autonomous adult behavior is what you'll find. You'll find functional adult love languages. No hypocrisy, but you'll be called a hypocrite like I did from my friend because we believe in, no, we don't believe. That's a point. You're a Mahasamadhi Samadhi. You're a person who has an independent way of thinking. Left and right. You know how to discern. You're not a magical wand looking for one. No subject matter expert can come to you and you are convinced. You're a person who looks for information out of curiosity, not to prove you're right. That's a secure attachment and a person who's using and beginning to wield their self and become empowered. The child states, on the other hand, of avoidant, we have a dismissive fear of closeness adult behavior. For the ambivalent, we have a preoccupied fear of abandonment adult behavior. And for the disorganized infant patterning, we have an unresolved trauma behavior that believes relationships are dangerous and they seek thrills and they seek distractions and they don't recognize that the first step is to get into an organized attachment category. So to move to avoidant or ambivalent and then to move to secure, but they need to have a safe haven, secure base, partners, people. Okay, so we'll be back with more. Again, let's be kind and compassionate, but let's work with the people who know humanity and spirituality. It's all one big ball of energy, and 5D mystics, come on over, have fun. Enlightenment, the human way. It's you, restorative embodiment, integration of brain, consciousness, infinite higher is what I bring to you. And being human, it's awesome. Have a great one.